Hey everyone, this is Iron Torch 20, and let's see, since I'm finally done with finals, I can hopefully get back to doing these React videos a little bit quicker after the episodes. But either way, I am going out tonight, so you're probably not going to see one from me until tomorrow. But either way, what I wanted to do was just do a short little recap this time, and then do a little bit more of a preview for the next episode and maybe some unanswered questions. But either way, this episode was more about oh, once again, spoiler, so if you haven't seen it, what are you waiting for? But either way, this episode focused more on Jack and Ashi's relationship, and you can see right away that when they were traveling across the desert across that giant camel, which I thought was a great touch, but when they were traveling across that, you can definitely tell that's what this episode was going to be about right away, with the way they were just handling things, and the way they were just apologizing to each other over everything, like accidentally touching each other's hands and whatnot. But what I did like about this particular episode was the soldiers at the beginning, like those kind of tiger soldiers when they had the shirts that said death and then die Samurai Jack, and then when Jack and Ashi are just beating the crap out of them, they just have one that says whoa, and then they jump out. I mean, I just thought despite this being a pretty serious episode, it definitely had its fair share of funny moments, and then I just thought that was one of them. But either way, the episode started with this strange monolith like flying across space, and then it gets hit by a few meteors and then crashes down to Earth. Then when Jack and Ashi were in the desert, and then I also do like how it's more Ashi's more the fish out of water, and Jack's the one like all of a sudden acclimated to this new future when he is trying to just show what the food is like, and then this kind of shrimp that turns him into some sort of weird tropical fish, or his head like becomes a tropical fish. I just thought that was definitely a strange part of it, but I did definitely like the animation in this part. And then they also end up making a well-drawn hat for Ashi. I mean, there was that too. So then eventually Jack and Ashi end up in a sandstorm, so then they had to find shelter, so then they find the monolith spaceship. So then eventually, let's see, they come across, or they find out that this is a prison ship, and then the thing that was hunting them down, it turns out it was called the Lazarus 92, and it was like some sort of a creature that could like release these parasitic worms against them, and then well, they weren't really as much worms as they were like kind of slugs. And then, of course, they were pretty poisonous too. So then, what I did like about this particular part was the odd protocol, and then you know that even though Jack's been in the future for 50 years, he still didn't understand a few things, but that kind of makes sense here because this was more or less some weird alien technology, and we have no idea where this monolith even came from, or what galaxy, or what planet, or anything like that. So I mean, it kind of makes sense that Jack didn't understand the protocol to how to kill that thing. But then, eventually, they do end up figuring this out, and then they do end up seeing Jack and Ashi kissing at the end, and then they probably did it, but we're not just going to hold judgment on that one. So either way, now that that quick recap is over, I mean, I did really enjoy that episode. I just, also thought it was more about the awkwardness with Jack and Ashi that did make it more of a funny episode, and I did like the way they worked together to end up defeating whatever that alien thing was. So either way, I did enjoy this episode, just not as much as the episodes before it. But I mean, it was still a really good episode. So now there are a few unanswered questions left, and even though we only have 2 episodes left in this entire series, there are still a few unanswered questions, and one of them is concerning the Scotsman, like what's going to happen with him, what's going to happen with Flora, the daughter, and if they're going to find Jack, or if they're going to lead some sort of other uprising or whatnot. And then another big one is, what about Scaramouche? I mean, you never really did see him tell Aku that Jack lost his sword, and what if he was still trying in the middle of that episode? And then, what happens when Aku thinks that Jack lost his sword, but then it turns out he got it back? But then, that's another thing that's pretty much worth discussing. And then, in the next episode we do see, or in the preview, we did see, this, part with the giant robots, and then Jack saying this place looks familiar. So but then if you've seen that episode before, you can kind of anticipate that the rematch 50 years in the making is on its way. So that is definitely something I am looking forward to. Of course, I am going to have to stream it while I'm out, or while I'm or just immediately afterwards. Yeah, we'll see. I'll figure it out. But with that said, I'll see you guys probably Sunday.